Bring us your poetry from inspiration sought. Come join us with your images, your verses, words, and thought. From here, we'll share your balladry with those who do not know it. This platform is here for you to show the world that you're the poet.
Welcome to episode 33 of You're the Poet, the poetry podcast featuring you. I'm host Matt Burgio, and I'm here with co-host Phil Burgio. Phil, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Here at You're the Poet, our purpose is to share our love of poetry with the world and invite you to do the same. I want to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners who have made You're the Poet possible. We hope you enjoy the podcast and the poetry that is shared here. Our featured guest for this episode of You're the Poet is Kevin Grant, who is joining us from Trinidad and Tobago. Kevin, welcome.
Hi, how are you, man?
Doing well. We're glad you could join us, and we look forward to your contribution to the episode.
Thank you. A pleasure being here.
To start things off, I'm going to turn it over to Phil to share a classic poem for the episode. Phil?
Yeah, this poem is by F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald was an early 20th century author, poet. He was born 1896. He died in 1940 at the age of 44 from a heart attack brought on by acute alcoholism. I'm not going to go into too much detail about his biography here because there's a lot to read if you go online and Google his name. Okay, he joined the Army, World War I, but fortunately he didn't have to go over there, which is a good thing because we lost some good poets over there. His poems reflect the themes of the jazz age. It mirrors the vibrant roaring 20s with gangsters and excess and everything. This poem is called City Dusk. Come out, out, to this inevitable night of mine, O you drinker of new wine. Here's pageantry, here's carnival, rich dusk, dim streets and all. The whispering of city night. I have closed my book of fading harmonies. The shadows fell across me in the park, and my soul was sad with violins and trees, and I was sick for dark, when suddenly it hastened by me, bringing thousands of lights, a haunting breeze, and a night of streets and singing. I shall know by your eager feet, and by your pale, pale hair, I'll whisper happy, incoherent things, while I'm waiting for you there. All the faces unforgettable in dusk will blend to yours, and the footsteps like 1,000 overtures will blend with yours. And there will be more drunkenness than wine in the softness of your eyes on mine. Faint violins where lovely ladies dine, and brushing of skirts, the voices of the night, and all the lure of friendly eyes, there, will drift like summer sounds upon the summer air. F. Scott Fitzgerald.
All right, thank you for sharing. Yeah, the beginning of that kind of reminded me of the Steve Wheeler poem about the city at night and whatever. Right. And then it kind of, I like that transformation into that love poem that he's waiting for his lover and how all the sights of the city at night sort of blend into his images of her, probably in sort of his drunkenness too.
Yeah, I didn't mention it. He's most known for The Great Gatsby.
Nice.
I thought it was well written and well understood.
Okay. All right, from here I'm going to share a poem for the episode. This poem is called Girl Across the Way. And it's just a poem about sitting on a balcony and looking across and looking at the river and seeing a girl on a far off balcony and contemplating, would you ever meet somebody like that? And knowing that you probably never will, that she's just someone off in the distance. Girl across the way. I see you, do you see me? Across the distance, in between? In shaded doorway still you sit, never moving, not one bit. Perhaps you're something in my mind, something in me I must find. Or maybe just another soul, lost in a world we don't control. We share this link of open sky and ponder life which passes by. We have the birds, the stars, the air, the world's view is ours to share. With hope we might just find our dreams, though how unlikely it all seems. I do not know your name or voice, believe me, it's not been my choice. I've watched you every day, alone, sometimes you're still just like a stone, with saddened look that longs for love, that points to heaven and God above. I wonder if we are the same, stuck in this never-ending game, two lost players within sight, who share the stillness of the night. We never speak, we only gaze, out past the river, through the haze. Will we ever meet as friends, or be alone till all life ends? I wonder this and realize, besides this night, we have no ties. We're doomed to live our lives alone, to keep our thoughts all our own. I see you, do you see me? Across the distance, in between. Matthew Burgio.
Wow, I like that one.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you.
I especially like the line where you say we are doomed to live alone.
Yeah.
Like you already foresee the situation, the problem that you were going through with that place, right? Like you already saw your destiny laid out before you.
Right. And that was written in a very contemplative mood as I was just staring off across the river and the views that I could see.
Yeah.
All right, from here, we're going to turn it back over to Phil to share his poem for the episode. Phil?
Yeah, I picked this poem to read last week, but it really hits home today because a couple of days ago I lost a good friend. Sorry, kind of breaking up here. Lost a good friend and neighbor. This is called Toasting to Friends. To my friends, I raise my glass and spill a little upon the grass. This is for those who did depart. I love you with my total heart. For those of you that are still here, raise your glasses with joy and cheer. Celebrate when you can, because time doesn't wait for any man. Philip Burgio.
All right, thank you for sharing.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, we lost our neighbor, Dick Redwine. He's been fighting some illness for a while and lost him this week.
He was a good man.
Great man. A funny man. He could always bring cheer and joy to people. He liked to tell jokes and do little magic tricks and stuff. So our hearts go out to him and to his wife, Sandy.
But short and sweet, did not have to elaborate, came straight to the point.
Yeah, agreed. Nice tribute there, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, from here, we want to move to our guest section of the episode. Kevin, you're the poet. Show us what you've got.
I have a piece called Delicate. And Delicate is a piece that was inspired by, let's just say, human nature and all the things that we as human beings go through on this planet. So it's a universal poem. And at the end, you understand the conclusion to this human crisis that we face on this planet. Delicate. Like a feather in the wind or a rose's petal, like a newborn baby bitten by an insect, so we are delicate. Suspended in space without gravity, unable to comprehend how such a heavy earth could float so divinely, spinning and rotating, days turning into night and nights into days, confined by time, a time capsule, oceans and nations, everything in place, despite all the violence and noisy aggression all around us. The constant fight for power, power to rule the country, power to rule the world, a burning desire for fame and fortune. Yet still we are all so delicate. Muscles and guns, bombs and knives, still we remain all the same, delicate. If not through the eyes of each other, so we are through the eyes of God. Kevin Grant.
All right, thank you for sharing. Very powerful poem there. And I love how you weave all those different delicate things, even from the beginning, like talking about how we're just as delicate as a feather or the rose petal.
Through the eyes of God.
Through the eyes
Through
of God.
the eyes
Right.
of God, yes.
It's so easy for God to destroy the world as we know it. So easy. With all the problems that we face in this planet, it's so easy for God to destroy it and to put an end to everything. We do so many things to destroy one another, nuclear war, everything violent, every little crisis you could think about we do to make this world as bad as possible.
Right.
But in the eyes of God, it's so easy for him to put an end to everything.
Oh, yeah.
This is what my poem is trying to depict. That with all the problems that we face in this circle here, this blue circle, it's not a problem for God to put an end to it, right?
Right.
We are really delicate. We're just powerful in each other's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
With power, hunger, and power for money, fame, and fortune. We are only powerful in each other's eyes, oppressing each other. We can't oppress God. It is easy for God to put an end to everything.
I think people often forget how small we really are.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, you got another one for us?
Yeah, I have another one, yeah. The other one is called Dead Poet Smile. Dead Poet Smile is an inspiration from, I think it's something that most poets could relate to who have poets that they look up to, especially when you're now starting off in the poetry business. There's always a poet or poets that we look up to. Someone that passed away, like Maya Angelou, as we know, Maya Angelou was one of the great poets of America.
Oh, definitely.
So this poem is also dedicated to Maya Angelou, a Caribbean poet called Derek Walcott. I don't know if you ever heard about him.
I have not.
He also passed away a few years ago. The name of this is Dead Poet Smile. From brain to hand and hand to pen, as thoughts massage my weary mind, a mind battered and worn, like an old fabric, frayed and torn from the day's iniquities. So I sit here and enjoy these magic moments, these golden hours before dawn, before the cock crows. I sit here under the pale moonlight, sipping hot coffee, black strong coffee, no sugar, no cream, under the sister moon. Cold breeze blow through my bedroom window. Spirits of dead poets appear, float and stare, admiring my poetic literature, complimenting my commitment, my dedication to this art form. No university required, just me and my pen and years of experience. So I sit here tired and torn, battered and worn, like a ship in an angry sea called the system. While I sit here with pen, dead poets smile, lively dancing spirits, celebrating with me in my room of solitude, my special room. Kevin Grant.
All right, thank you. A lot of good imagery there, and I like that concept of sitting there at night writing and getting the inspiration from these dead poets.
Yeah.
And I really like that line, my dedication to this art form, no university required, just me and my pen and years of experience.
And years of experience. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think people a lot of times think of poetry as like this academic or, high class sort of art. And really, poetry is for everybody.
Yeah. It's an expression of a people.
Correct.
Yeah.
I also like that line, battered and worn like a ship in an angry sea called the system.
Yeah.
Massaging your brain. I like that too.
Yeah. Thank you.
A lot of good lines and good imagery there.
Like an old fabric, frayed and torn from the day's iniquities.
Yes.
When I think of poets that I admire, Robert Frost, I think. I like Robert Frost and Matt. Matt's a good poet.
I was going to say I'm blessed to have my poetic inspiration still with me and still sitting across the computer here doing a podcast with me. A lot of great poetic inspirations in my life, but my father was definitely an early one.
Oh, your father was a poet?
Is.
So Phil is my father.
Yeah, that's my son.
Oh, you are his father.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing the father-son duo here.
I've been his father for 40 years.
That's nice. That's nice.
He's one of three. I got three boys.
All right, all right. So you have a legacy in poetry there.
Yeah,
Legacy
kind of.
poetry.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, if you listen to episode 1, the first poem I ever share on the podcast is called The Two Men Who Inspired Most, and it was about Robert Frost and my dad, and there's a stanza in there about him. But anyway, good dedication to your poets and to Maya Angelou, of course. And I wanted to ask you, I didn't catch, what was the name of the other poet you said that passed away?
Derek Walcott. He's a poet from St. Lucia. He was a professor of literature in, I think it's Harvard University in America.
Okay, I will definitely have to check him out. So thank you.
Yeah.
Before we move to the third poem, I wanted to ask if there's anything you'd like to promote. I've seen you on Facebook doing some things. I see you've got a book or two out there. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on in the poetry world.
I have 2 books that I published. And actually, I publish my books myself. I'm an online publisher. I decided to learn the ropes. I wanted to learn everything on my own. I didn't want to become too dependent on anyone to learn how to be a publisher as well as a poet. I had the first book published in September last year, and I did a second edition in December of the same year. In the second edition, I added a few more poems to the book, and I did some polishing up on the book, some stuff that I wanted to take out and wanted to put in.
So what is the name of your book?
So the name of the book is The Mind of a Poet. The mind of a poet is a reflection of my mind and making social observations, an expression of myself and everything that goes on around me. I just put it into a book. I put it from pen to paper and made a book with it.
Okay.
I decided to make certain social observations of everything going on around me, including myself. Not only on the outward, but I also did observations of my own self, right?
Okay.
So my book is not only for people of one age category. I try to make all my poems reachable for my audience of any age, from 16, 17, 18, all the way to senior citizen could enjoy my poem, right?
Okay. And where can we find that? Is that available on Amazon and other booksellers? Or?
Yes, it is available on Amazon. The Mind of a Poet by Kevin Grant, and The Mind of a Poet, second edition by Kevin Grant. I have some social links as well. I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Kevin Grant 2006. You can find me on Twitter, Access 007KG. Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram as well, Kevin underscore Grant underscore 777.
Okay, we'll definitely share all these links so people can find you on the social media and different things.
Kevin, you got another poem for us?
Yes, I'll do like a sensual poem this time because I decided to experiment with sensual poetry. Most of my poems are very philosophical or spiritual at times, but I wanted to do something sensual and like romantic.
Aw.
The inspiration I got from this was coming on to Valentine's Day. That when Valentine's Day was approaching, I decided to do a sensual poem. That was a few years ago.
Okay.
This one is called What is a Kiss? What is a kiss? A passionate bliss. Her lips, my lips, once was dry, now warm and wet. Intimate in my arms, sexy songs that lips make. I'll have my cake and eat it too. Like a lollipop leaving her lips, wet songs, wet tongues, playing games inside our mouth. Her mouth, my mouth, exchanging saliva. No scorn between lovers, no scorn undercover. In the streets as we kiss, a passionate bliss. Her lips, my lips. People gossip and stare, but we don't care. You see, we are not from here, where hearts are cold. A world of hate, pitiful state. The full has never been told. So we kiss with bliss, deaf and blind, ignoring this world, leaving our cares behind. Sexy songs that our lips make, like a lollipop leaving her lips, as my manly hands caress her broad hips. Wet songs, wet tongues, playing games inside our mouth. Her mouth, my mouth, exchanging saliva. No scorn between lovers, no scorn undercover. Is this love? It feels like love. A gift from above, my sexy love. Kevin Grant. So I experimented with sensual poetry.
I think you did a good job there. And I like how you get these repeated lines that come out, like the her lips, my lips, that like repeats, and even the scorn or her mouth, my mouth.
Yeah,
I love that whole concept too of being engrossed in each other and kind of ignoring the rest of the world that's going on.
right.
I'm getting impressions of old poetry like Omar Khayyam and Virgil, the Rubaiyat kind of vibe.
Okay. Actually, the name of this poem was supposed to be Exchange of Saliva.
I think that
That was supposed to be the name of it, Exchange of Saliva. And one of my early publishers decided to change it and told me to call it What is a Kiss?
yeah, I kind of like that better.
Yeah, but it does have that humor, and I think the poem
Yeah.
has some of that little humor in there, and I think it would have worked either way.
Exchange of Saliva is kind of graphic, he said no.
Yeah. Eh,
It's poetry. What the heck?
right. But good job with that. I think you did a good job with that experiment into the sensual poetry. You don't get too crazy or too what people might call vulgar or you're too
Right.
sexual.
Erotic poetry, no.
Right, erotic, yes. So yeah, I thought you did a good job of keeping it on that side of the line, but doing a good job of the interplay there.
Yeah.
And you're talking to two romantic people here. We both have our moods.
Right.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say I love that line, the no scorn between lovers, no scorn under covers. I thought that was a good concept in there too.
People gossip and stare, but we don't care. See, we are not from here, where hearts are cold. A world of hate, a pitiful state, the full has never been told.
I like that whole concept.
That's my favorite part.
I really like that when you were reading it for that concept because that's when I'm kissing my girl or I'm showing attention to my girl. I'm totally focused on her and I don't care what's going on in the rest of the world. I just ignore everything else. And I loved that part of your poem.
It's been a while for me.
Me too.
Well, my wife passed away 3 years ago. So.
Oh,
All right. My wife passed away 2 years ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
She had a heart attack in her sleep.
Oh,
She died 3 or 4 days after her birthday.
mm.
Oh, wow.
And the problem is we got divorced like 3 months before she died.
Oh, geez. That makes it harder too.
I was with my wife 50 years plus.
I had my wife for like a little over 20 years.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, is there anything else you wanted to say or share or anything or about poetry or your poet inspirations or anything?
Just want to say that it was a pleasure being here, sharing my poetry with you, and I look forward to being back on your program, hearing more work, listening to more of your work and father's work. It was very interesting and was not only entertaining, but it was educational as well. Hearing the pieces and listening to everything as a father and son teamwork. I really admire that and think it's a good thing you have going.
All right, well, thank you. As we wrap things up, we want to let our listeners know we are grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. We hope you're enjoying the poetry shared here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. If you are enjoying the podcast and would like to support You're the Poet and what we are doing here, we have set up a patron site at buymeacoffee.com/you'rethepoet. Thank you for your support as we continue to grow. If you've written any poetry and you want to share it here, whether you just have an interest in poetry, consider yourself an amateur poet, or are a professional poet with published works, contact us to be a guest on a future episode. Please check out the website at you'rethepoet.com where you can find info about the podcast and all of the episodes. Follow us on Facebook for updates and info, and be sure to join our Facebook You're the Poet community page where poets can share their work and interact with other members of the community. Send us an email to host@you'rethepoet.com for feedback or questions about the podcast and how to be our next guest. Also, we've been working to put up our podcast episodes on YouTube. They're still just audio, but you can find them there under You're the Poet Podcast, and we're working to build an Instagram presence as You're the Poet Podcast as well, so please follow us there. Until next time, Phil, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Kevin, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here. I look forward to the next
All right, well, thank you guys. Goodbye.